think we're good to go. Hope that everyone is doing well, as per usual. And I believe last week I said we were having the final MGEXS live stream, and here we go, another week, another EXS live stream. Although this time, this has to be the final one, because very few things are left to be done with this guy. So basically, I'm done with all the detailing, all the panel lining and stuff like that. I've also mapped out and sourced pretty much all of my mods in terms of LEDs and stuff like that. Some of them are already done, some of them just need wiring to be refined. So the goal for today, for the live stream, is to finish the running of the LED mods, install the LED for the bazooka, because this massive rifle still needs a little bit of cleanup. And actually we're gonna, as we assemble the kit today, I'm gonna be doing the cleanup for the decals, because very few of the decals actually have been cleaned up. And as you know, every time I install decals, I always use a Mr. Mark Setter solution, and it leaves quite a bit of residue, especially on darker parts, or you can see it even on these light parts upon closer inspection. So the way you kind of clean up that residue is by using Mr. Mark Softer, right? It's not only really good at melting decals, but it's also really good at cleaning up the residue, making it like really clean. And so the goal today is to assemble the kit, clean up also some of the silver lining, because not all of it has been cleaned up yet. Finalize the running of the LEDs. I don't think I'll actually solder the LEDs, because I will solder them once it's all assembled. But I do know where LEDs are going to be. Most of the LEDs are already installed, except for one. In the rifle, there is one LED that's going to go in here. So basically, as you know, the rifle has a scope, kind of sideways mounted like here. And I have determined that I'm going to run a custom LED for it, because that creates a really nice effect. Let me try to demonstrate. Normally, when you build your EXS Gundam, they give you a shiny sticker like this. I believe this one, or maybe one of these, goes under the transparent part. So it gives a, like glow camera effect, I guess. And I figure, hey, since I'm adding LEDs to this kit anyway, why don't I add an LED to the camera as well, for the gun? So I have this LED. This one is, I believe, 1.5mm from Evan Designs. It already has a resistor pre-wired, so I don't need to wire another one in order to power it by USB, which is 5 volts. So this LED can accept 5 to 12 volts input power, which is great. It's not too bright, but it's bright enough to where I chose to actually put a sticker under this transparent part, so it diffuses the light a little bit. But basically this will be the final effect. It will look like a lit up camera. If you look right at it, it's quite bright, but if you look sideways, it looks pretty good. So the goal for today is to install this LED in here. So that might require a little bit of drilling, even though these parts, they snap together, so we might just disassemble this section and see how we create a cavity for the LED to sit in. Then probably the wire for the LED is gonna run straight into the torso, because the way this kit is going to end up looking like is it will probably be a bit of a statue in its most famous pose, where the gun is in front of the kit, chest level, right? And the arms rest on it, even though for my kit the arms will not be resting on the gun. They will be holding sabers, which are wired with the LEDs themselves. But it means that I can actually hide the wire by running it straight into the main body, hiding it there, and connecting the wire to the main power, sort of like connection port at the back of the kit. So the main task is to place an LED actually inside there, so that it lines up nicely when you attach the scope camera. Yo, Warren Presents, nice to see you on the stream. How's it going, man? I mangled your name, Anger Presents. My bad, man. Speaking is difficult sometimes. I hope that you're doing really well. Hope you had a great week and enjoying the weekend. And hopefully this live stream makes it even a little bit better. Hey dude, Thomas McFarlane, nice to see you on the stream. Welcome to the stream. I hope that you are enjoying the stream. We just kicked off and just laid out high-level plan for the stream. I do have my other camera set up today as well, so what I can do is I can actually show you. There you go. So hopefully you can see, this is kind of the completed version of the hand. I was trying to do my best to hide the wire. So obviously I have posted before that I have modified the saber handles with a super duper tiny blue wire, blue LED, right? And the wire exits at the bottom of the handle, and I kind of have it angled where it goes under this armor piece. And I cut out a very tiny, like very small channel with my hobby knife for the wire to run in. Then the wire exits here at the back, and then it goes under this piece, and then it exits right here on top of the, kind of on top of the bicep, right, or tricep, I guess. And this should be covered up by the shoulder armor, which is currently not installed. And the result of this, obviously, is hopefully the wire is not too visible, because once it is posed, it will be something like this, right? So you can barely see the wire if you look at it from this angle. And that's kind of the goal here. I'm trying to manage the wires for this mod like much better than I've done in the past. So we're gonna need to do the same installation on the other arm. I've only done one of these last night. The effect itself is actually pretty cool. Given that at the moment I have all of the lights turned on, it might not be super duper visible. It's quite subtle as well. But it does work, and the sabers light up pretty nicely. Hopefully it does come through. Especially when there is like a darker environment. Looks pretty dope, man. Looks pretty dope. And it looks different from different angles. Like if you look at it from this angle, you can see it much better. So yeah. The goal is to finish all of that and start the assembly today. Maybe we might even finish the assembly on this live stream. Who knows? We'll see how far we get today. Go back to the main screen and get on with the work. Back as right now, that comes with my last week's stream because it was my... Your 50th birthday, man. Happy belated birthday. That's a great milestone. I hope you had lots of fun in whimsical activities. I can totally understand chronic pain, man. I can totally understand that. I myself have been involved in an accident years ago, and that left my shoulder quite messed up. One of my shoulders. And it's just something you gotta deal with on an ongoing basis. Gotta be constantly vigilant about it, because if you let it sleep unattended, all of a sudden, you know, don't feel all too well. Alright, before we start messing around with the gun, why don't we go ahead and install the LED into the other arm, so that I know the arms are out of the way and we don't need to worry about them anymore. Where is my other arm? Oh, there we go. Are the pieces? So in order, this is going to be left arm, I think. Yes. One is what? One is right. Yeah. And we need left. So the goal is to take this part out. Let's first disconnect the shoulder joint. Now we can pry open the side armor part. My current LED workflow, are you referencing in terms of OG video? Because I've done a number of LED mods on my kits, and I've done also a number of different guides. If you're asking about the Wolf Technology LED guide that I released earlier this year, then largely the workflow remains the same. The only thing custom or different here is obviously this kit is different from the Wolf Technology Barbatus build, so the actual runs of the wires are a little bit different, but in general I use the same methods, the same approach, pretty much the same tools as well, same very kind of basic cheap soldering iron from Hakko. I use whatever LEDs I can find on AliExpress or Event Designs. Depends on what's available on hand. Kind of trying to be mindful of the cost of the materials. And that's pretty much it, yeah. And of course the same principles with regards to when you run when you run power for your LEDs, it's very important to keep in mind whether your LEDs are like this one, right? This LED has a resistor pre-wired, which means that this LED can be powered directly by a USB port. So I have a power bank on the side connected to some test leads, and that power bank is simply USB-A power, like you would use to charge your phone, for example. So you can see this works just fine, right? However, this LED, you can see, because this LED in here is super duper tiny, there is a resistor here and it's larger. But it's very important that there is a resistor, because most of the LEDs, I'm not like an expert, but from what I know, most LEDs require 3-volt power, like the pill batteries, and your USB is 5-volt, right? So if you in there, I think it's 0402 LED, because Pico, I think Pico is like interchangeably used with Sizen. Some call it Z's. No. So on Event Designs, for example, if you buy LEDs from them, they have different labels. So for example, this LED is 1.8 millimeters, solid LED, blue, right? And this LED is this. This is a 0402 BL1 LED from AliExpress. It's like they're really cheap. Not all of them always work, but considering their price, you can afford to throw out a few. But it's very important that there is a resistor in there, because if you take out the resistor and you try to power it directly by USB, then it will probably work for a little bit and burn out, or it might burn out immediately. I've never tried, honestly. I believe for that Wolf Technology guide, I used the specific LEDs that I linked to as well in that guide. So the process remains the same. If you want to modify something with LEDs, first step is to determine whether there is room for LEDs and what LEDs you're gonna need and how you're gonna place them in there so that they stay in place and work as you want them to work, and hopefully don't ruin the kit, right? Then the next step is figuring out how to run the wires, where you're comfortable with the results, figuring out the power on process, right? Or rather power supply, I guess. So it's pretty much the same, except that for... No, really it's the same. It's just for EXS Gundam, I'm doing EXS specific modifications, or rather placements of LEDs, right? So they're a little bit different from what I did for Wolf Technology. Let's see how I can hide this wire dash. This is probably going to be the pose. But yeah, I think sometimes they're called Pico LEDs, and sometimes they give it the exact sizing of those LEDs. So I believe Pico is 0402, but I might be wrong. In general, when you talk about really small surface-mounted LEDs, you have 0402 and 0603 sizes. And I do usually leave links to the actual, sellers that I get my tools from. It changes time over time, obviously. Some become unavailable over time. Yeah, depending on your budget and your location, you might be able to buy a lot of your LED tools and related supplies from Event Designs. It's a bit costlier for me to do so because I'm in Canada. So, shipping to Canada and with all the stuff that's going on, the price gets affected by it. But I still try to source some materials from them. They seem to be a pretty nice store. Now I cut out like a super duper tiny channel here. Because there is so much room inside this kit, I don't really need to worry about the inside, of the forearm where the wire is going to partially reside. I just need to make sure that there is a tiny channel. I'll make sure to zoom in a little bit so you guys can better see what I'm working on. Right, because there is so much room in here, I don't need to worry about wire getting pinched and stuff like that. Plus, I don't plan to pose this kit extensively. It will be a bit of a statue with minimal posing once assembled. I just need to make sure that when I snap this part back in place, it doesn't pinch the wire too badly, because that's, not a good thing to happen. I need there to be a channel that holds the wire in place, but doesn't necessarily stress it out so much as to risk it snapping. Because disassembly and rewiring, while possible, is just tedious, and I would rather avoid it if I can. That being said, I've normally break a couple of LEDs as I work on a mod, kind of part of the process, if you will. Hey, Xeon Lover, how's it going, man? Zaku. I hope that you're doing alright. Nice to see you in the live stream. I'm just slowly working my way through the LED installation in this arm of the extra special Gundam. Not gonna lie, boys, the fact that I have nails on my right hand is a bit quite helpful at the moment. I'm not supposed to use them for this, because these nails are for my music playing activities. So doing stuff like that actually risks damaging them, but I just cannot resist. Like having a little spudger built into your fingers. Guide this wire under the joint. And also after our last week's live stream, I've done a little bit of research about the scribers and stuff like that, because I've attempted to do some scribing with this kit, because I have like a basic gun primer Grida scriber. I've never used it. I bought it because I thought it was an interesting tool, and I've been meaning to get into scribing. I think I'm ready for that. But I tried scribing with this kit using Grida, and honestly, while I appreciate the ease of use of the tool, the result is arguably not the best. Like this line you can see right here. Originally this kit does not have a panel line there. It's just a connection of two planes, I guess, right? There is an angle here, but there is no divot to hold the panel line. So this has been scribed with this gun primer Grida, which has it's a pretty sharp needle, but it's quite thick, probably like 0.5 millimeter or something like that. And it also, I believe, is like like a triangle scriber, so it doesn't have an angle that is super thin, and an angle that's more like a chisel. So now that I've had a taste of scribing, I'd like to do it more. And we discussed it quite at length during our last week's live stream. So what I probably am going to try to acquire is a small set of MadWorks chisels and and handles. Also, supposedly AliExpress is going to have a sale starting tomorrow, and I'll try to grab a few. Those thingies seem to be pretty expensive. Although according to your guys' feedback and what people say online, MadWorks chisels are the way to go. So I might as well invest in good quality tools. Well, we'll see whenever those arrive. Doing more scribing. But I think gun primer Grida, considering its price, the fact that it's a chisel and a handle in one, it's still a decent tool. Bit of a, I would imagine, probably sunk cost investment. I'm not sure if you can like upgrade its chisel or reuse it in any other way. It's quite handy. So now what I'm doing now is I'm carving out a tiny channel at the back of the bicep so that the wires run, the LED wire for the saber handle runs through it safely as well and doesn't get pinched by the armor piece. And this modification, quite intrusive obviously, but it will not be visible from the outside and it should not affect sturdiness or functionality of the kit. I know I'm carving into the polycap, but this is quite a thick part of the polycap. And I'm trying to carve as little as possible, and the wire is quite thin for this LED. So I'm carving out a little trench, maybe about 0.5 millimeter deep and 0.5 millimeter wide. Clear out that channel. Because I don't have like many, I actually might have chisel scribers, but I'm also too lazy to grab them. I think doing it with a knife is nothing wrong with that, because this is not a visible part. If I was doing this on the surface, I obviously would be considerably more careful. But now that we have the channel, I'm just going to place the wire in there. Make sure that the wire actually fits in the channel. It does. Great. So what we can do now is grab our bicep, armor plate, push the wire through it, and carefully put it back in place. Boom. Now let's see if there is enough slack in the wire to actually allow for the bend in the joint. Okay, push a little bit more wire here. Seems to be quite snag. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna bend the elbow halfway, maybe a little bit more, and then fix it in place. Like if I let too much wire in, then it will be very visible. There we go. Give me a sec, boys. I'll catch up on the chat in 1 second. Attach this part real quick. Go, and now we can also attach the armor pieces. And for armor, obviously all of the white parts I left them as is. Obviously I applied a lot of decals to this kit and then aligned all of it. But the blue armor has been top coated with 2 or 3 layers of Mr. Premium Flat. That should look quite cool. There we go. Now let's grab the effect part. Let's make sure that the LED still works. This wire visible in the front. I might actually twist it to be behind. You know what, let's actually try to do that right now, because I don't like having it kind of facing the viewer from the front of the kit. Maybe I can hide it a little bit better. But then I might have not left enough slack in the wire to do so. Yeah, just barely not enough. Ouch. Got wire on my watch. I need a little bit of extra here. Oh, there we go. I just can pull on that wire just a little bit. Speaking of like channel for the wires, not too tight. Oops. Now this part opened up, oh, everything is falling apart. But not to worry, I got all of this. Although it might not be super duper easy. Thing is, the way I was running the wire inside the handles is kind of separated a little bit, so it runs on each side of this carved out channel. That. Make sure that the wires actually fall inside the channels so that when I close the handle, it doesn't pinch them too much. It is gonna pinch them a little bit, so it all stays in place. Come on. Good stuff. There we go. Now carefully on the handle here. Unfortunately, EXS Gundam doesn't have like a... Well, actually fortunately, because if it had flip out handles, you know, that like insert into the wrists on lots of modern kits, then there might have been not enough kind of space inside the handle for me to run a wire. But as it stands, or I would have had to remove that flip-out thing. Anyhow, let's make sure that that installation did not break the actual wire. And if it did, might as well replace it now. Grab my test leads. There we go, the wire works. Because the lights are quite bright, it's not super duper visible. And I also need to make sure that the wire is still pointed at the handle. It seems like the wire might have gotten pointed inside the handle and outside. Well, it should be pointed at the effect part, so might need to fix it now. Let's go ahead and do that. Let me catch up on the chat real quick. Wireless LEDs had longer induction coil range. I agree. I haven't tested any of them myself, but I have seen them listed on AliExpress. And I think on Facebook as well, they were like marketing. I wasn't convinced. So I had not purchased any as of yet. I've been just gradually trying to improve my hard wiring techniques and stuff like that. Getting more and more comfortable with deeper kit customizations and modifications so that the wires are better managed. I'm quite proud of the how Wolf Technology turned out, I'm not gonna lie. Actually, ever since I did that review earlier this year and released the LED guide video for that kit specifically and in general describing how I go about modifying kits with LEDs, I placed it on my display shelf and I forgot to wire it into the power along with my other kits. And I think it was last week, or maybe it was this week, I finally took time and wired it up. Oh, such a beautiful kit. And I'm so glad that I went as far as I did with the LEDs on it, because having the backpack light up and the back of the waist and the forearms and the eyes just gives it so much more life. There is something about, like, I just enjoy LEDs quite a lot in my kits, but not like for the sake of, LEDs for the sake of LEDs. I enjoy them because they somehow make kits come to life, at least for me. When I look at my kits on the shelves, there is something special about those that light up, which is quite a few. But also when you're gonna do it yourself, you, I guess, appreciate it maybe a bit more. Although kits like the PGU Neo that we recently installed LEDs for, absolute glorious, like phenomenal model kit, phenomenal LED set. I have enough of it. Were the guy installing the Cosmo LED set in PGNU? If so, did it go well? Was I the guy? I'm not sure if I was the guy. I would imagine many people have installed Cosmos LED set for PGNU Gundams. I certainly am one of the guys that installed LED set for PGNU Gundam. I have a dedicated video for it on the channel. There is also a live stream recording where we were doing almost all of the installation live. I believe my Reddit post on Gunpla community also did fairly well, got some nice responses and lots of feedback. So I'm not sure if that means I'm the guy for that kit specifically, but certainly one of. And in terms of how that LED set performs, phenomenal. The LED set is great, the installation went pretty well. The installation for that kit is actually pretty simple. It's just a bit tedious and time consuming, especially if you go for the 6 LED twin funnel version. It's just a lot of work to install it. There we go. I think this is much better now, having the LED pointed at the actual effect part makes it look considerably prettier. I did run the wire towards the front simply because running it behind there's simply not enough slack and it seems to pull on the LED itself. I might rethink this when I assemble the entire kit, and if I don't like seeing this wire at the front, I will have to disassemble, create more room there, and run the wire behind the wrist joint. For now though, for the purposes of having this process move forward, I think we're gonna leave it like this. Looks pretty good. I really like this subtle design. I know it's not ideal. For example, I've collected a few Hot Toys and they use the same approach for the lightsabers, and there it makes much less sense. It doesn't look quite as cool, because for the lightsaber the effect is supposed to be consistent throughout the entire effect part. While for these like plasma sabers, because they're also like thicker at the bottom, I think it makes sense. Almost like imitates the flame, but contained in a specific shape. Anyhow, I digress. Let's move on to the next part. Let me zoom out. Where did you get the LEDs from? I don't believe no, actually I should. So if you check the description of this video, there is a whole section that lists a whole lot of gear that I use. One of the sections, it's all organized in categories. I believe one of the categories is the LED parts, and if not, then if you could go to my channel, search for the videos. There is a video from February this year that's called LED Guide, or Guide to LED Mods, and it lists some of my most commonly used tools, LEDs, stuff like that. So you'll definitely find the information there. Also for this kit specifically, when I release the review video, it will, as per usual, detail everything I used to do the mods. I'll go into detail in terms of how I dumped them and point out, where to find the recording of the process. Because quite a lot of work on this kit was done on the live streams. You like LEDs for the same reason? Hell yeah, man. LEDs are pretty good. It's also like kind of my avenue to, work on customizations while I don't have the setup for full painting. I feel like they are separate avenues, kind of go together. Like you can customize a kit by painting it and visually customizing a lot, then you can customize a kit by then describing and PLA plates and stuff like that. Then you can customize a kit by adding LEDs to it. So eventually my goal is to do all of that. And the first thing I decided to kind of work on is LEDs. And if you check some of my older videos, we started from very, very, very rough, just like sticking the LED in there with the wire sticking out and stuff like that. It still is not perfect, but I think we've progressed quite a lot over the years. So I need to disconnect the excess Gundam. This is this thing. There's the, yes. So this is supposed to just snap up, but it doesn't want to. Your becomability. Oh, thank you very much, man. Just still lots of like improvements to go through, but you know, you guys are on the same journey as I am. Taking you along, we learn all these things together. And get better together over time as well. That's the beauty of it. Oh, so this hood thingy is actually part of that. Okay. Given that there is a massive bag here, I need to kind of work around it. Right, the goal is to have an LED placed perfectly in the center. We actually might leverage the bag to help us keep the LED in place. I'll try to bend the wires around it. Pretty firm wires, holy crap. Those are just LED stems. Probably can just bend them around. I think this wire is soldered there. I might have broken that connection, I hope I did not. So I mean by like breaking one or two LEDs every time I do a mode. Gonna handle it a bit roughly at first, just to figure out the position and stuff like that, and then I handle it very carefully once I'm starting the final install. Means that sacrifices must be made. I believe that the hole inside the scope is actually right in the middle. What about some super small heat shrink to make the wires look like a silver cable? Yeah, so I already do that. For example, this heat shrink is not mine, this is installed by the maker, but I do have heat shrink that I use these days. So in here, if we go and look at some complete parts, in here, I tend not to, well actually, it might be a good thing to consider doing heat shrink here, right? Potentially to hide the red wire sticking out. In here I wouldn't do it because it simply adds more thickness to the overall wire, so it becomes harder to manage. In here, this wire is going to be hidden inside the kit. Probably inside the shoulder and then the main body. And then usually the wires that exit the kit, what I do with them is this. I have a wire wrapper, a very thin wire wrapper. It's a 3mm thick wire wrapper. It's the thinnest one I was able to find. But this is what covers all the wires when they all connect and exit the kit. Ideally, the goal is always to hide the wires that run inside the kit as much as possible. But it's also a bit of a trade-off in terms of how much you end up customizing the kit and how much time you end up spending on the kit. So you're not gonna make it perfect, it will take potentially too long build every kit. So I'm trying to both do a good job, improve gradually, but remain conscious of actually completing the builds and releasing videos on a somewhat regular basis. Yeah, it's a great suggestion. I might experiment with having a wrapper covering the back of the elbow there, or a heat shrink. I'm doing now, I'm just trying to create a tiny channel, like a semicircle here and a semicircle here, to see whether the wire or the LED bulb will be fixed in place by that tiny hole on its own. Like, it took me 2 weeks to apply all the decals for this kit, because I don't paint, obviously, and G rework decals come with a lot of extra decals. So I ended up covering some of the gates and compensating the lack of surface level detail on this kit to an extent with the decals. Because this kit predates undergating trend, you can pretty much see all the gates on it. That's why, like, those who paint and build this kit, they can make it look so much better. But at the same time, if you don't paint like me, you can still leverage water decals to your advantage and both cover the gates, some of them at least, and add detail at the same time. Those wire stems are extremely difficult to bend. I like to bend them with these tweezers. Okay, so considering how thick the LED bulb is, I don't think I can create enough. Ideally, I want only the pointy part of the LED bulb to stick out, but that might be too tight of a squeeze. I'll be surprised if this LED still works. I'll be... simply because the stem ends here, and I believe I've mangled the solder point between the stem and the wire. Might as well, okay. Handle it a bit more without any care. No, I think we're gonna have to carve out a larger cutout in those halves. Simply the bulb is too large to fit between this wall and the housing for the peg. Alright, perfect. This should hopefully be better. No, still need more room. Needs to be wider, not necessarily shallower. Or deeper, I guess. That'll be the right part. Down and right angle. Oh, almost perfect. So, with that in mind, I don't want the wire to exit at the back. The wire will be going towards the body, which will be I think I can round the wire here. Then cut out a tiny exit hole here. Very quickly try to snap these parts in place. And see if the wire lines up with the camera cutout. The cutout on the scope is not large enough. Yeah, need a couple of millimeters on top. Don't need the guide for now. Not anymore. That's better. Not wide enough. Yeah, let's do that a little out. But not right. Out in here. It's like too large, just enough to pass these two wires through without having them pinched by the top part. Not enough room here. A bit more. Okay, so it does snap in place now. Kitchen parts. So the camera is now supposedly closed and the wire that's like that. Let's see if this LED actually still works. I would be very surprised if it does. Holy crap, that's one sturdy LED. The moment of truth is if it lines up with the camera. It almost does. It seems to be a little bit off center, which I guess we can correct by... Yeah, we definitely can correct that. I don't necessarily like how bright it is when it shines straight at you, but I did not come up with any kind of diffusion or reflection solution there. I don't have any like blow paper or straight up blow sticker. It'll be like thick enough to diffuse that light. So there is a sticker there, but it's just a transparent sticker. So it does a little bit of diffusion already, but not enough, I would say. Although it looks pretty good, because it won't be camera facing. This LED. See if we can twist it around a little bit. It needs to be better aligned to the center. Although, yeah, we're gonna have to modify the cutout. So at the moment it is a little bit off center to the left, to the right, so I need to create more space here. I think it's working out pretty well. Quite like how it sits like perfectly flush inside that camera module. Let's do another test, and then if it's good, then might as well clean up this part and properly assemble it. There's even that silver pin alignment is not even clean for this. Looks quite muddy, but it will look much better once we clean it up. Better? Somewhat. I don't think it's perfect. I might have to What do you guys think? Is it good enough? Is it even visible on the camera? I might actually be able to wait on my other camera. Let's see if that view still works. Oh yes, it does. Great. Oh, look at this. What do you guys think? Is it good enough, or do we need to further center the camera light? I don't want to point it straight at the camera because it's very good for the sensor. I don't know. But hopefully it looks good enough with the LED installed inside the camera. Gives it the glow that it's supposed to. So. Alright, let's return to the main view. What, bear with me, I'm gonna whip out my vacuum real quick and cover it all up. 1 second. Done. So to clean up the silver lining, what we need is the razor pen and a thick beauty. Go. Now it starts to look much better. I'll probably do a little bit of weathering on this gun once I'm done assembling the kit. Although it has some panel and some marker detailing going on, they're pretty large surfaces that are quite plain. Okay, so this is the complete scope. To a fresh side. A little bit more razor. The thing with the silver line cleanup is there's all of like dirt that generates. Might go through quite a few Q-tips in the cleaning material. But the result, I would argue, is well worth it. I think we also have some silver line here on the muzzle brake. That is much better. there any other silver lining that I forgot? No, doesn't seem like it. I think these guys have cleaned up all the silver lines. Yes. We'll check. Clean, clean, clean. As well. Right, great. Get out of here. Realized there was like a bad gate mark here up top on the gun. I'd like to cover it up, I think, with what is it, 120? These Doloha markers are pretty cool, guys. Not gonna lie. I think I mentioned in a previous live stream, or maybe a live stream ago, you know, testing out Doloha markers lately, and I like their colors. They're not the sturdiest paint, but they tend to dry very velvety. Like flat and velvety. Hard to describe, but as an example, this is DSPIAE marker, and this is DSPIAE marker. It's very shiny, it's very metallic-y, very sturdy as well, compared. But this, the copper lines, and also these inserts and these inserts, are actually painted with Doloha. They have really nice finish to them when they dry out. Gives them more depth, more like texture. Although their paint is not the sturdiest. Not bad, can still work with it, but better be cautious. So, now I need to make sure that the LEDs for the camera actually have a way to reach their destination. I might actually leave them like this. The remainder of the wire management will happen through the articulated arm. And they can be sort of pinched in place by the top camera. Yeah, let's actually maybe assemble the top camera so that, and the holding arm, so that we can see what it's gonna look like approximately when it's complete. And where do I have my parts for the gun? Yeah, I think this is the articulated arm. Here it is. Yes. And then we have this. Find all the gun bits. Of them as a separate spare part. I'll be that, and that. This is the bottom part. This is the top part. I think there's also a big blue wing. Yes, this one. Right. These decals have not yet been cleaned up. That and the other part. You guys can see I went pretty heavy on the decals here. Some of them are like pretty close to each other. Almost stacked on top of each other. Actually, in a couple of places the decals are layered. I don't think I've done that before, but it was a cool experience. But will look tasteful on the final shots. When I was wrapping up the decals yesterday, I looked at some of the parts. I was almost a little bit afraid that a bit too much. You never know until you assemble all of it and look at the overall picture. Boom, this part is clean. While I have this cleaning tape on already, might as well clean up some other parts. Not to waste the tip. Like some surface damage on that part. And obviously if you use a bunch of this thinner solution, Mark Softer, it can kind of melt decals to perfectly comply with the parts. Matter of fact, if you have enough time, you can actually make all the decals melt into plastic to look almost like prints. Just through regular application, you can still see them sticking out above. Not as bad as stickers, but still quite visible. If you really let them melt, it can look extremely good. Right, and this tip is done. All right, cool. Let's go back to assembling the gun. What do they want us to do here? Great, and inside the camera slot, I'm not applying stickers because I'm not doing the LEDs here. And on the main camera array, I guess. Nine, 11, 8, 10. Awesome. And stickers in place. This part count because I do have it. Do I have it for? I'm not sure. To attach the backplate. That is that. I don't like that this thing doesn't really hold all that well. Kind of detaches very easily. Okay, let's put it on. Doesn't really do anything to help me hold the wires in place, not as it stands. Jack. Is there. Okay. guess that will be this. So then if I want to run the wire, there's like a bit of a channel for it, but effectively, arm attached. If we can maybe use the arm to guide the wire. Oh. Attach the paint. Oopsie. Use a tiny rubber band to help the wire stick to the arm. If I do this from the front, the wire is not going to be super duper visible. Like looking at it like this, the wire is actually completely invisible. If you look at it from the top, you can immediately see the wire. Maybe giving it a little bit of cover, or I can try to run it inside the gun to an extent. Disconnect the scope, or the camera array, whatever it's called. What is it actually called? No idea. But I can actually probably, perhaps, run the wire inside that. Then come on, do it. You don't wanna just fish through that hole without any problems. There we go. That's better. Perfectly left plate. Fix that. Great, so now the wire exits where the manipulator arm connects to the gun. That is a much better approach. and it's largely hidden by the camera array. And then I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually run it inside the manipulator arm because it has an extension gimmick and stuff like that. But perhaps using a tiny rubber band here would be of help. Speaking of tiny rubber bands, and we're speaking about the DSPIAE new LED here. That thing comes with a lot of these really nifty tiny O-rings, which are actually small rubber bands. I did not use them all on this build, on that build, on a DSPIAE new build. And they're quite precious. So precious that I just dropped one of them. I have chances of me finding it are not going to be very high because they are very high. We're gonna try. Yeah, she's got her. Grab another one and see if I can manage not to drop it. Great. Boom. The gun LED modification is complete. That was pretty easy, but it would be much more difficult. So if I was to try to attach the gun to the front of the waist port, pretend that the gun is in its whatever, like closer configuration. Oh. That'd be like this, or the other way around. Rubber band is visible that way, I don't like that. That open arm is like, the cups are not the sturdiest. Yeah, like that. Let me connect it to power and switch the camera angles. You guys can see the final result of this mod. Semi-final, I guess. It's still not complete, and the gun itself has not yet been weathered. Looks a bit raw still, but I think much better already. Where's the right button? There we go. Fix the focus there. So, this is kind of the modified gun, now with the LED already pumping. If we shift it like this, you can see that there is the camera is actually lit up. Even creates a little bit of effect, casts a little bit of light onto the gun barrel itself. I think it's pretty cool. Should look pretty nice when combined with the rest of the kit, the lit up sabers and the eyes LEDs, yeah. Yeah, we have a few here. So yeah, nice. And you cannot see the wire. Obviously, this would be the an observation point, where the way you see it now would be the way to most of the kit probably would be filmed and displayed on a shelf. And the wires are completely invisible. I mean, don't look at these wires. But the wire itself actually is right there inside. It kind of runs around very, very carefully. And then at the back, it exits at the bottom and runs at the back of the manipulator arm. There is a tiny, tiny rubber band that holds it in place so it doesn't flop around. And the slack will actually run through the chest, through the torso, into the back of the kit where all the wires will meet up, unite into one powerful wire, and exit the kit. Alright, let's move on to the next step. Very nice. Thank you very much, Halo. Also nice to see you on the stream. I hope that you're doing very well. Put the gun aside. The only thing I need to do with this gun now is double check whether all of my marker detailing is still good, and to do a little bit of weathering before it gets mounted for the final time. Because that's a pretty large gun. Like a little bit of texture will not harm it. Let me put it right there at the back. The next thing that I wanted to explore and potentially tackle in part on the stream is the large steel tankers, the blue guys. I have an idea and I would like to test it, because I am not sure if it's a good idea. So what we can do now together is try to assemble them, see if the idea has merit, and if it does, we might actually progress towards making it a reality. Okay, I want to focus on the tankers specifically. These guys, the shoulders themselves, I don't need for now, but I need these parts, so them and the mounting plates. These guys. Respective polycaps. Come on, get out of there. Go. Also need barn doors. These guys. More. And the flaps. So the more parts that are specific to these guys. Yes. And of course, the main beautiful completed parts. These are the parts where the actual layer 1 and 2 decals are layered on top of each other. Something I've never had to do that before, but the result is actually quite interesting. A lot of detail. So right arm, I believe this is left. This is going to be right. What I want to try to see is potentially adding another LED mod to this kit inside these blue tankers. Quite a different type of mod, something I haven't done before. I recently discovered a new type of LED strips, the tiny ones. I bought a few. I would like to see if they actually are going to work here. And the barn door. How easy is it to mod kits usually? It depends on the extent to which you choose to modify the kit and the type of mod you're going with. I have shared guides in the past for some specific modifications I've done. I've also shared a more generic guide for how to modify your LED kits. How to modify your kits with LEDs, kind of in general. But it really depends. Sometimes it is very quick if you're only adding LEDs to, let's say, eyes of your kit. For most kits, it's a pretty straightforward type of mod. Sometimes it might be involved though. And also likewise, sometimes you choose to go a bit further with the modification, do more. That of course increases both time and effort required to get the result you desire. Like we've earlier today, we've in less than an hour, we've installed this modification. I don't know if you were here a few minutes ago, but when we started the live stream, this gun already had all the decals applied and all the details, but it did not have LED inside the camera. In less than probably an hour, maybe a little bit over 2 hours, hour-ish, this gun has been modified. There is an LED sitting inside there. The wire has been run, and I guess that is about 80% of the modification. Obviously, the rest of the modification will be done only when the kit gets assembled, right, and all the wiring finalized. So the installation of the LED itself, I would say most of that is just you kind of thinking about it and figuring out what it is that you want to do. And the installation itself is usually very straightforward, unless you go for something very unusual and super duper involved. That's kind of the best I can share with you on that. story short, it depends on the type of mod and the type of kit. Some of them can be a bit of a pain in the ass to work with. Some of them are extremely easy. My thinking here is having an LED strip inside these tankers so that there is a blue halo light coming out of them and it falls straight on the arms, because there is a lot of room to work with, so it shouldn't be a problem to install the strip per se and run the wires. Just want to make sure that it makes sense and it looks cool, not too gaudy. Tankers are usually going to be like this. Yeah. Yeah, got it. I believe it's not closed in, but it also doesn't really... Yeah, I think if I install it here, it will shine away from the camera. I would need to build them both like that. I think the wire will not be a problem. What I can do is I can actually probably put one place very roughly. If we like the looks. So I found these things. These are like look like tiny worms, I guess. These are very, very thin LED strips. They contain a bunch of LEDs in them. They come in a lot of different colors, and you can actually shorten them. So if you cut off, obviously the part that you cut off stops working, but the rest of the strip continues to work without a problem. And because they have diffusion already, they actually look pretty nice. Arguably, they look better than standard surface-mounted LEDs that I've worked with, because those don't have any diffusion layers in front of them. And to show you what it looks like normally, I'm connected to my test leads. Probably try to make sure that my test leads don't touch. Power supply ran out of juice. So the idea is, this is not going to be easy. I did not solder wires to these LED strips ahead of time. But what I want to consider doing is having the strip inside there. What we can try to do, considering that I not solder, and grab more test leads. Bear with me, boys. I'm rummaging through my tool set. a couple more wires. Or black now to one. Okay. Can use a little bit of blue tack to put it in place. Power supply. Mode. There we go. All right. Or maybe I can use a little bit of tape to hold it in place for now. I want to do like a test fit to see whether the resulting effect is actually worth it, or maybe it looks too rapid to invest any time into it, you know. Perhaps I should not have snapped these parts all the way together. Oh, and that I would need to take them apart anyway. But that's not so big of a deal. So I'm gonna grab a paper towel because I don't want to scratch the top coat. There we go. I have genuine nightmares of working with the crocodile clips. Oh, alright. What do you do at university? I've never had to work with crocodile clips in my life before I started this hobby. I didn't even know about them, honestly. For the first year of me doing custom LED mods, I was just twisting the wires together, trying to do test fits and stuff like that, and it was extremely infuriating. When I found these guys, somebody recommended them to me, and I was like, dude, how did I not know about these things? I thought they were lifesavers, honestly. The idea is to run this LED strip like this eventually with some hot glue inside the tank. Right. that. You can close these barn doors, so hold it in place. Okay. But for now I need something to kind of hold them in place while I'm doing the test fit. Like the strip itself fits pretty well, and then the wire can just go here, go towards the shoulder, meet with this wire, and together they can then run to the back of the kit. Exit the kit. But I need something to hold this guy in place. Bear with me, I'm gonna grab some Scotch tape, transparent tape. We can try to kinda stick them in place and do a test fit. Be right back. Instead of using transparent Scotch, because it tends to leave residue, don't want that. What I'm gonna try to do instead is using either a little bit of masking tape, although it's not transparent, at least it doesn't leave anything behind. And I'll try to use very little of it, simply to hold the wire in place. I wish there were like smaller crocodile clips, because these are smallest I was able to find on Amazon, yet they're still pretty large. And most of them that I came across on Amazon did not have these covers, which I find to be very useful to avoid short circuits. I don't know if they're like super fine crocodile clips for wires, but they could be very handy for this type of work. I turn this around without... Yeah, that's not good. You see this guy shines through. Where did I tested this? Because this shine through is not a good thing. Programming in microchips. Popping off. Ooh, that's pretty cool, man. That's really cool. but I can understand the struggle probably. That's pretty cool, man. I've been a developer for a while, so these days I'm no longer a developer, but I've started as a developer. Just appreciated working with people who have computer science degrees. And to be extremely especially those who have both programming and hardware knowledge. Myself do not. So, running this LED strip on one of these plates not going to be a good idea because it shines through them. Then alternative would be running it inside and just having it like wobble around, create light. Technically would not be visible, the wobbly part, unless you know where to look. Kind of loop like this and having it just stick it in here. Crocodile clips will make it impossible for me to close them. Yeah. I want to see though what the effect is. Still showing through? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it seems like that the light itself from the LED strip is so strong that it, even when it's not next to one of these blue guys, it still kind of shines through them, which is not ideal. So I think this idea might be a bust. What I wanted to do is I wanted to have a light glow, like a blue glow, inside these tankers that spills over into the kind of outside of the tankers onto the arms and shoulders. But it seems that these LED strips are just a bit too powerful for that. Or maybe the blue plastic parts are just a little bit too thin and too bright and allow through too much light. Because even if I guess add resistors here to dim the lights, like more resistors than there is in a test plate. Black tape on the inside? Yeah, that could work. Great suggestion. Let me see if with all of this I can still kind of... So right now there is a light source inside, and if I turn off that, I can observe the result. I'll take a lot of tape to cover that up, but ultimately it creates a glow effect that's gonna hit like the shoulders here. I don't think it's actually the best idea. Yeah, I don't know. Might do another test fit later. Because on one hand, not having black tape, if you were to like look inside, you would see the light source and you would see the detail inside the armor plates. But having this shine through is really not cool. I think I'm gonna pass on this one this time around. Been hoping that this would be first time I can use these new LED strips, but I'm gonna have to continue searching. I will experiment a bit more maybe later with this. Because on one hand, using black tape will stop the light spill, on another hand, using black tape will cover the inside detail. Plus, if this is too bright, I can probably simply stick an LED in there, point it outwards, and it will create an even better effect, because it will just shine in one direction, probably at the kit, or I can just let it be. What I can do instead, for now, can just go on with the assembly. I think we can still do a bit more work in this live stream, and then I can, if I come up with a better idea or simply feel like it, I can experiment a bit more later. But for now, I think the idea is a bit of a bust. But while we are at it, might as well assemble the shoulders, or tankers, yeah, the tankers. And the barn doors. This will be a left shoulder. Yes, this is right. Then you go there. Left. Yes. Wanted this flap to go on the shoulder. A little bit different what decals they got. Great. So assembled. Let's clean up the top parts of them, which have a lot of decals on them. Well, also these goodies. And shoulders. The shoulder parts too. Goes here, this goes back of the other shoulder, this goes with it, there is no cover at the back, this goes here, goes there. I top coat individual parts after I put the decals on. So for example, for this kit, I've decided to top coat all the blue armor parts. I decided not to top coat black parts because I kind of like the shiny finish that they gave them, and I decided not to top coat white parts. I don't mind how white parts look most of the time when I don't top coat it, especially on bandai kits, because ever since I built Perfect Great Unicorn Perfect Ability, which I did not top coat, I've kind of maybe even fallen in love to an extent with how Bandai does their white plastic. It's like pearly almost in real life. I kind of like it. So I very rarely top coat white plastic, from Bandai at least. I don't top coat in general all that much because I top coat outdoors on a balcony, my apartment, and since I live in Canada, there is only a short window every year when you can actually do the top coats due to weather and climate here. I do have a couple of kits in my backlog that I plan to fully top coat, and they happen to be white as well. That will not be probably this year, but it will happen eventually. I have top coated white in the past though. If you check my Sky Defender build, along with the follow-up videos where I installed the Cosmos OD set for Sky Defender, you will see that for that model kit I top coated every single part individually. In terms of process, I always panel line, decal, detail first, then I clean up, and then I top coat. And once I top coat, I try to only very carefully assemble. In posing, I also try to be very cautious when I pose kits that are top coated. I don't go super thick with top coats whenever I do them. 2 or 3 layers most, and I don't go for thick layers, rather like quick passes over the parts. And I always top coat on the individual parts. I've never top coated entire kit or even an entire body part assembled. That kind of gives me anxiety about covering the parts that are not supposed to be covered in top coat, and consistency of the coat and overspill and all that stuff. I tend to work on like individual parts like this. Technically this is 2 parts because this part is snapped in place, but it's sort of like almost like one part. And of course, like masking tape and all that stuff when you want to make sure something you top coat is not fully covered. And when you do top coat, at least I have quite a lot of experience top coating with Mr. Premium top coat, be that flat or semi-gloss or gloss. What I'm doing now is on these parts, I'm cleaning up the phenolane liquid. Sorry, not phenolane liquid, but the Mr. Mark Setter liquid. When you apply decals with a Mark Setter, it leaves quite a visible residue, like dry spots. So Mr. Mark software is pretty good to clean that up, but if you plan to top coat the part, you actually don't have to clean up the residue, like the dry spots, because somehow the top coat kind of get rid of them anyway. But I always advise testing before, actually committing. Because removing the top coat is a hell of a process. Not the most pleasant one either. I've had an incident last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago at this stage, when I was building my Perfect Grade Exia. I was top coating, full build on that kit. And I kind of risked top coating right before the rain started in my area. Which, because the humidity was so high, before the rain, the top coat frosted up and the part got messed up. There's no other way around it. So trying to strip the top coat required a lot of work, a lot of pretty aggressive thinner. I did recover eventually. Turned out pretty well, but was very stressful. What I do these days, whenever I top coat, before I actually go ahead and top coat anything, I always have in my batch of parts, I have one spare part, and I set up my station for top coating, and I do a test spray on the test part. I give it 5 minutes, see if it dries well, if everything looks well, and only then do I proceed to top coat the parts I actually care about. Because the EXS comes with a lot of spare parts for S Gundam, and just in general there's a lot of spares that are not used. And there is no shortage of spare parts to do your test sprays on. I would imagine it's a given for those who like airbrush a lot, for example, or top coat a lot, but I cannot say that I actually follow this practice from the get-go. Learned it the hard way, but it's a peace of mind, and it doesn't add too much time to your workflow. Okay, great, these are done. Pull that out. Just right, and more consent usually. I don't want decals to get damaged to come off, because I like posing my kids. But I've never had decals stripped by posing. Granted, everybody's different. You might be applying more pressure than I would when I pose the kits, but I sometimes can get pretty handsy with my kits when I pose them. Do you usually use something like Mr. Mark Setter when you apply decals, or do you raw dog it? Because I've never had a decal fall off or scratch off easily on me, and I apply a lot of water decals, and I to not top coat most of my kits. I have ever had decals fall off on me when I first tried applying waterslide decals to my Perfect Grade Unicorn Perfectibility without using Mr. Mark Setter. I was using Bandai's original decals there, and I was using their own guide saying that you need a cup of warm water, you dunk them for like 20 seconds and then you apply them. Crap, all of it. Absolute crap. I did a test, I applied like a dozen of them on one hand, following the exact procedure they suggested in the guide, and I let it dry and settle. Then I came back like next day, and just by touching the part, the decals started to like shed off of the part, and ever since that test I had never not used Mr. Mark Setter. I've over 3 years ago I bought this bottle of Mr. Mark Setter, and it helped me apply like over probably 10,000 water decals at this stage, and quite a bit of it left. I use a setter and then softer though. I'm always afraid because my hands usually get very sweaty when I do anything. Yeah, I mean, if you use enough Mr. Mark Setter, you should be fine, man. If your hands get sweaty, you might be like too nervous or worried too much. It's I would rather, you know, consider I don't know, taking it easy maybe, or just not worrying about it all that much, because yeah, it's a model kit, you've put a lot of time in it, but at the end of the day, you're kind of doing it for the enjoyment. Or you can always consider using gloves too. For example, when I work on kits like with a lot of gold, like the what's her name, the golden thingy, real great recent release, Akatsuki, yeah. I always wear gloves because while my hands are not particularly sweaty, they are oily nonetheless, and I have a very bad habit of touching my face too much. I wear glasses, so sometimes touching your face is sort of unavoidable, trying to adjust your glasses and stuff like that. Yeah, but I mean, if you use Mr. Mark Setter, you use enough of it to really make your decals stick in place. Yeah, I don't know what they would be like rubbing off, because that would take like a very serious amount of pressure to rub off decals that were attached using Mark Setter. Yeah, I could only recommend kind of taking it easy, taking a step back if it starts to frustrate you. I have to do it quite a lot, especially when, because I try to like create cool poses. I'm not particularly good at posing. I try to get better over time, but I'm not the most patient either with posing. So when I film, I have an idea, I want to create a certain pose for the video, and when it doesn't work out once, you're like, okay, well, I will work through it, and kind of put more effort, put more time, and then especially if the kit is like some third party or even Bandai, not the best of their designs, and it's very flimsy, like after 1 or 2 or 3 failed attempts to create a pose, the caveman starts to come out. A little bit of grunt, under breath curse, stuff like that starts to happen. And I've been broken some parts in the past. I've learned to just Take a step back. Breathe in, breathe out, take a break if need be, and then come back and get her done. I have damaged top coat before though, but I would wager damaging top coat is quite a bit easier than damaging a decal, because top coat is not quite sturdy. You don't apply a lot of it as well. Where are these guys? These are the shoulder joints. Are these shoulders as well? Yes. Which part goes into these rings? It will be the... no, it can't be this one, for sure. Oh no, it is. Alright. Would this be the right shoulder? Yes. Great. This would be behind. I've been meaning to add silver lining on that shoulder. Yeah. Oh, inside this one too. I think I forgot about that. Well, onion takes time to dry, so might as well. We'll be able then to finish these on a stream. Assemble the other shoulder. And apply the silver lining. That might have to be it for today then. Silver lining will take time to dry. Right. The top handle. I wish I had some sort of like a mecha chopper. Reading a pose of this kit being dropped in on the battlefield, like from a chopper or some sort of transport. That would have looked so cool. Because I'm getting a sense these handles are like, you know, aerial drop-in type of handles. Without knowing the lore behind the kit, just the vibe I'm getting. Quickly flaw these parts with our chrome marker. Warts and overspills will not be visible. Overdubbed by the armor. That'll be one. Birdie. Perfect. One last part. This one. Perfect. Now these bad boys gonna need some time to dry. In the meantime, what we can do is inspect the fruits of our labors for today, I think. Let me shift some of these things out of the way. Move towards the front. Some of the cool things that we've completed today. Let me move these guys out of the chrome paint when it's fresh. It's extremely sensitive and tacky. Okay, that stays there. Let's grab a vise, attach the big gun to the vise so that it looks fancy. And then maybe next to it we can also attach one of the arms on another vise. That way I'll sort of summarize what we've done today. And then our favorite crocodile clips will come out as well. We did not finish the head unit today, I don't believe, because it still needs attention as far as decal cleanup is concerned. So I don't think it would be fair adding that into the shot. Yeah, and the red mine for it is not ready yet, so that goes out of the way. But I think we can sort of pose the ends round. Yeah. Bear with me, boys, and we'll actually I can switch to another camera angle over already. You can see what I'm doing better. I guess from the top you can just see me arranging it. I'm arranging it so you can see it. Let's final sheet. Give me just 1 second. If the other camera angle still works, it does. Let me adjust it so you can actually see what I'm trying to show you. Better? I think that's a little bit better. Gone a little bit. That be visible now? Yes, it is. Hopefully you can see that the camera is actually lit up. Yes, perfect. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grab another vise and I'm gonna pose one of the arms that we've modified today next to it. Maybe actually both. Let's see. It's gonna be a bit of a rigging situation. Does that make sense in terms of the pose? I think the idea should be above it, but I don't think I have a vise cool enough. Put these hands above it. It's gonna be a bit of a rig. Can't say I've done this before, but it might, just might, actually work. Let's see, find all the positive leads. I think I'm starting to understand what you meant, my amigo, by saying you had to deal with a lot of crocodiles, and it was a horrible experience. I cannot say I have a lot of crocodiles at the moment, but I have a lot of wires that I'm trying to kind of manage together. The experience is not super duper pleasant, but hopefully the result will be well worth it. Okay, we lost. We got both sabers, but we lost freaking camera. The gun. crocodile, you can do it. Oh, snap. Try again. Huh. So this is what we have achieved today. I hope I did not get my elbow in any of this foam paint. Would be most unfortunate if I did. I don't think I did. I got lucky in that one. I completely forgot about them. Well, I guess that is the result of today's live stream. Let me switch the view onto this. Hopefully you guys can see. Can I maybe even move the camera to the left a little bit? Let's do that. Maybe lift it just a notch. Alright, not too bad. Yeah, awesome. Well, I think that is going to be it for today's live stream. We have successfully modified the rifle for the MGXS Gundam. Now it has a little camera that, well, it has a little camera light. It had a camera before, but now that camera is coming to life. We have also successfully wired the LEDs for the arms, partially assembled these bad boys and tested an LED mode for them, which did not work out, but it was still an interesting, I guess, testing experience. And almost assembled the rest of the shoulders, however they need a little bit of detailing and that paint needs to dry before it can be installed. I've also cleaned up some of the shoulder, I guess, wings, flaps, armors. There's a lot more parts that need final cleanup, which I'll probably do tomorrow. And a lot more parts that did not get attention today are the other armor parts that have been successfully top coated and detailed, and all they need is just the final assembly. So hopefully this is the final live stream for EXS Gundam. And all that remains is just assembly, final LED wiring, but all of these already installed. The review will be done soon with that. I will be launching a new feature on the channel along with a review, so I'll save that information for the review video. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. I definitely did. I always enjoy interacting with all of you guys. I always appreciate all of your support on the live streams, on the videos. I appreciate the community very, very much. And I will see you in the next one. I hope that you have a great rest of the weekend. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, later.